Hey everybody, in honor of Halloween this year, I wanted to share my favorite drills for my favorite trick on Tramp Wall, the vampire. Now, in case you haven't already seen the full-length, excruciatingly detailed tutorial on my channel, here's a brief recap. A vampire is a tramp wall trick in which you do a half twist to hand plant. People usually learn them against the face of the wall first, then incrementally go higher until they're able to catch it in a handstand on the corner. Now, if you learn every drill in this video, you'll easily be able to vampire against the face or the corner, so let's get you started on your quest with a couple drills that you can do at home today without any equipment. First, you're going to do a table bridge, turn your fingers to point backward, shift all your weight into the arm you're twisting towards, then turn over into a push-up position. As simple as that might seem, this is the basic movement of a vampire, just tilted 90 degrees. From here, try to lift your hips a little bit higher, which should put more weight into your hands and shoulders. Next, you're going to add a little hop with your legs, driving the motion with your opposite leg. In other words, if you're twisting left and keeping all your weight in your left arm, you're going to lead with your right leg, aiming to get your hips higher than your shoulders. As this becomes comfortable, try to take it all the way into a handstand. And it doesn't matter if you can hold a handstand for any amount of time or not, all you need to do is touch it and step back down. Next, you're going to elevate your feet on a block and repeat the same motion, which will actually probably feel quite a lot easier. Next, we're going to head to the trampoline. If you know how to do a kaboom, try doing a kaboom with a half twist to catch in a handstand, and if you don't know how to kaboom yet, then just try the same motion out of back bouncing. Either way, it's important to stay very low when you do these, as you don't want to fall from height onto your hands. Next, put a short block next to the trampoline, and the first thing you're going to do is bounce on your feet on the tramp, then bounce up to land on your feet. Next, you're going to do the same movement, but land on your butt instead of your feet. Next, do the same thing, but this time land more reclined, and once that's easy, try to add a quarter turn to land on your side like some kind of vampiric Cleopatra. When that's easy, catch the corner with the hand you're twisting towards, so your left hand if you're turning to the left, and try to add another quarter twist to wind up on all fours. From here, focus on lifting your hips higher and increasing the interval of time between when your hands catch and when your feet come down. It's also important to focus on bringing your hips up in front of you, not swinging them around you. This might sound weird, but I find it helpful to imagine that you're doing the drill in a narrow hallway and you can only move forwards or backwards, not side to side. Next, head over to the tramp wall and just do some basic full turns against the face. To modify this into a vampire, the first step is going to be to get closer to the wall with your hips, really trying to sink your tailbone as close as you possibly can to the face. When that feels comfortable, instead of treating it as one smooth circular motion, segment your twist into a half twist on the way up, a momentary pause at the top looking down at the trampoline, then another half twist as you descend. Next, you're going to do the same thing, but actively drive your knees and hips towards the ceiling and leave your chest and head down as you leave the bed, so you wind up doing a somewhat inverted, segmented full turn with your hips close to the wall. From here, you have a couple different options to play with. The first is to try to touch the face of the wall beneath yourself with your hands. At first, you might only get one hand on, but with practice, try to make it both hands, and then try to actively take some weight with them, pausing like Spider-Man as you get weightless at the apex of the bounce. From here, you can start putting more weight into your hands and less in your feet, then try to tap one or both feet on the way up and catch entirely with your hands. When you manage to do this, technically that was your first vampire, and now it's just a matter of extending your lower body more and more. Speaking of extension, another drill you can do that's based on the same motion is to do the same inverted segmented full turn, but this time you're only going to anchor with one leg while the other leg, which is the one you would lead the way with after tapping, extends upward towards the ceiling. In other words, if you twist left, you're going to raise your right leg towards the roof, and vice versa. When you get comfortable enough with this to get a moment of hang time in this weird penché shape at the apex, start trying to touch the wall beneath yourself just like in the previous drill. As you might imagine, turning this into a vampire is exactly the same as the previous drill. You just tap on the way up and allow your foot to leave the wall while doing everything else exactly the same. Now, besides those, there are a few more drills you can do against the face of the wall that will help you build more height, control, and confidence. First of all, you can learn to run the wall in a pullover to handstand position like this. You can either swim your way towards the face on your back like this, or plant your hands and twist to your back. When this becomes less terrifying, try to build height in the same position. Our next drill is actually a trick in its own right called Carnage, and for this you're going to alternate between pullovers to the face and diving back in. I recommend watching the corner throughout the entire trick to make this safer and easier. Next, do the same thing, but instead of just going to your feet, you're going to bring your hands up and plant all fours against the face. Also take this time to change your visual references, so instead of watching the corner the entire time, you're going to watch it on the way up, but then when you get onto the wall, you're going to actively look down to the trampoline, and repeat. Alright, for the final drill against the face, and possibly the scariest drill in this whole video, you're going to maintain the exact same visual reference points, but this time only catch with your hands, leaving your legs dangling out over the trampoline. Alright, if you made it through all those drills, you should have a pretty good vampire to the face, so now, let's take it to the corner. First, drop in like you're going to do a low power ball out, then lead the return with your lower body to land standing on top. This should feel very familiar if you did the block drills earlier in the video, but this time you're taking off from your back instead of your feet. From here, land sitting, then try to do the same but land leaning further back. From here, catch the corner with one hand as you pass it, and pass yourself through a segmented half turn to push-up position. As this gets comfortable, try to smooth out the twist and complete the half turn before catching with both hands. From here, try to lift your hips high and keep your chest down so you land in this kind of triangular shape. Next, do the same but try to extend one leg towards the ceiling, which would be your right leg if you twist left, and vice versa. You can also do this without hands until you get used to the motion. Once it's comfortable with your hands, try to hold your other foot up for a split second before stepping down, then incrementally increase the amount of time between your hands catching and the foot coming down. When that feels comfortable, the final thing to do is aim your kick more upwards towards the ceiling instead of past the corner, leave your legs dangling slightly behind you over the springs, and drop back in. Alright, congratulations, you are now Dracula. As always, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're interested in coaching or workshops, you can always message me on Instagram at Scott A. McDonald. And until next time, go pillage Tramp Sylvania.